What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Small Cap Recap. Today is June 12th, 2018. Today's topic of discussion is going to be summer trading, how to approach it, how to survive, and what to look for. So I've found, I've only been doing this for about 3 years, guys, but I've found that during the summer, there's certain days where there's predictability. And my rule of thumb is usually by 11 a.m. Eastern, you know what the tempo of the day is going to be. If there are movers on that day, by 11 o'clock, usually you know by then. Um, and if you can tell the action is getting a little crowded, it can definitely lead to a lot of midday chop. So how I approach summer trading personally, guys, is looking to be much more aggressive the first hour. And be usually cash depending on, it's obviously stock specific. We'll talk about a couple examples, but usually be cash, by 11 or 12 unless I'm looking to fade something. Summertime, like I said, usually you know by 11 whether the day is going to have, a stock with momentum that you're going to be able to trade all day. Usually, if nothing has popped up new by then, it's safe to say that it's going to be a slower day. And that was kind of the case today. There was definitely movers right out of the open. But my rule of thumb is what we like to call the nail and bail environment, where you want to look to, take advantage of what I call the opening range price discovery. Let the market figure out what the price of the stock deserves to be that day. Take advantage of the discovery, the first hour, and then look to cash out. It's very easy to get caught up in chop and the lull. And I personally believe that in the morning, you can afford to trade a little sloppier. And if you want to trade midday, you cannot afford to be sloppy. It's much more sniper mentality in terms of entries and exits. So the stocks that I want to talk about that I think are really good examples, first one being NAKD. So this was a stock that today they had some type of merger announcement. And for me personally, I was on these merger announcements. I'm a little bit in the dark because sometimes I don't know how to interpret them, um, and sometimes they rip. So I was looking to see, if we got to push maybe to the 250 level to take a stab at it, but I was completely wrong. The pre-market levels were basically 242 was around the high, and then $2. So we were just trading in this channel pre-market, and once again, another example of why I like to utilize pre-market levels is because you can use them going into the open. So we didn't get a push towards highs. Instead, we just peaked out right at about 235, which was the pre-market resistance, I would say, and then just completely ate it. And I mean within the first, hour and 20 minutes, we basically go from being up 50% to basically almost flat. So huge move within the first hour, by 11 o'clock. So this whole move was made the first hour and a half. And then the rest of this, in my opinion, was kind of just, you could have faded it, I guess, but just I would call it the chop. So play the meat of the move. I saw a couple of people did really well on this today, so congratulations. I wasn't able to participate, but great example of summer trading, guys. Be really aggressive the first hour, hour and a half, and then nail and bail. The other one that was a good example as well that I had traded was NNDM. So this is one from yesterday. It basically had an incredible run off of some type of announcement that they basically got a contract from I guess, military defense government company and 3D printing. So huge rip. It was trading at 130, ripped all the way to almost 350, and then yesterday we get this just really annoying action. But then thankfully finally faded at a day. So going into today, I've said this before, utilize the prior day's highs and support and resistance levels going into the prior day. You can check out the most recent video lesson on that. 290 was significant. So I had started this, believe it or not, at 270 pre-market just to get in, get involved, and then ended up adding. I actually tried to add here, and then it looked a little squeezy, so I covered and then re-shorted up here once we peaked out. I didn't want to step in front of this because it's been the wrong move lately. So once I saw 280 fail, I started getting involved around 270 and then covered into the wash at 250. Was kind of annoyed because I'll show you guys what I was looking for. This 250 support, the 50-cent level is always significant. Got involved at 270 and then added and then covered into the wash. Was looking for one more pop to VWAP and then fizzle out. But we got this really just quick pop and then boom, down to 230. So it went SSR there. And then everyone knows once we get that SSR trigger, the price action becomes much more non-organic, as I like to call it. So crazy whipsaw action. This is usually what you don't want to be involved in. So another example of first, hour, hour and a half, just play that meat and go enjoy your day. It's way easier. And like I said, you can afford, I was a little sloppy on this. Could have got a better average, more size. But in the morning, because I was more aggressive, I could afford to be, a little bit more sloppy. And you cannot afford to be sloppy, during this whole move because your entries, the SSR, your exits, it's just when you watch the level 2, there's no edge. So this is summer trading. And on a day like today when the tempo was, like I said, a little bit slower, that's what I'm looking for personally. So the other one that I wanted to discuss, which really was the last one that was a good example, was APRI. This was one that I think this is a retail stock. It had a huge gap down, and then I think people have been buying these cheapies. So nice little flat top breakout over 35, but it was just trading at a quarter, and 60 was the gap fill. So I think everyone was looking for 60, and then percentage-wise, this is a nice move. I usually try and avoid these lately because you want to usually be more patient, let them rip further. But just really nice 20% drop, 58 peaked out at, which is your pre-market high. Once it failed, you could have stopped. You could have gotten involved at 55, risking 3 cents, and then down to 45, risk 3 cents to make 10. Not a bad risk reward. Ended up peaking down at about 43, 42. So percentage-wise, it's a nice pullback. Again, after a 100% move, I'm always looking for a 10 to 20% pullback. So these are just good examples of what's been happening lately. There are other stocks, like I said. Like AXON was a really nice fade today after just kind of being really silent the past 2 days, and then you just finally get the slow bleed. This was another nice trend break, which I talk about. Right about here was really nice. And the other one, which was I had avoided, and it's easy to look in hindsight and say, well, shit, I probably should have avoided that. But GLMD. Positive results, I think phase 2 on some type of liver drug. The news is pretty incredible because pre-market goes from 7 to 23, and immediately, I'm looking at this and I'm just like, whoa, because I saw the news come out, really didn't touch it, and then before I know it, this thing's up 200%. So I'm like, I don't really want to get involved in this until I, see some type of backside move, and it just looked scary on the tape. It could have definitely, we were trading in no man's land, and I don't know if it wanted that 30 mag. Unfortunately, it peaked out at 27 and it literally faded all day. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about heavy selling. Apparently, they registered some type of selling agreement or something a little while ago. So I think a little shady on this one. But again, happy to avoid. It's easy to say in hindsight, coulda, woulda, shoulda. But like AXON, nice all-day fade. So this summer strategy is really stock specific, but I like to approach it from, the nail and bail, unless I see something with a lot of conviction and there's other stocks moving on the day and I can tell it's an active day. I'm willing to hang around more, at least trade and be more aggressive. But a day like today, I was really done by last trade was at 10.27. Nail and bail the first hour, guys, and enjoy your summers. Hope everybody enjoys this. Again, I'd like to discuss a certain topic as well as movers, so comment below. Let me know what to discuss next. Hope everybody has a great night. I'll catch you on the next one.